Hello everyone, my name is Alex Chan. I'm the Horizon Technical Lead at Cisco, and I work on the OpenStack dashboard. I wanted to give introductory talk today about integration tests. My talk is titled Fun with Horizon Integration Tests. Some people may not put fun and tests in the same sentence, but hopefully I can change your mind about that. So just starting off, integration tests. What are they? Integration tests are tests that are executed against a group of software components, but treated as a whole. So why are they important? Well, when your individual software components have been tested and verified that they work by themselves, it's extremely important to test that they play nice with each other. They're usually executed, they can be executed at the end of the software development release cycle. So for example, after your unit tests and functional tests have been completed, before user validation, you can run integration tests to verify that the components are working together nicely. How are integration tests executed? They're different from unit tests in the way that unit tests can kind of be run by themselves. The Horizon integration tests require a separate running server. So it can be a staging environment, a development lab, or your local dev stack. But it requires a live server running to have the tests executed against. So for the Horizon test suite, it's actually very, very simple to run them. In order to execute the Horizon test suite, you would have to modify a single configuration file. This is the horizon.conf under the test directory. This file specifies what environment that you're testing against, the usernames, the passwords that the tests need to execute. After that, it's a simple command line function, a command line to run the test. Just run test.sh-integration. And what this would do is it'll create a virtual environment, download and install all the packages needed to run the test, and then execute the test suite. If I had run all the Horizon integration tests locally on my laptop right now, it would probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. So normally if this is done in a separate system, such as a Jenkins or some build system, it works fine. But if you're developing tests, then it's not optimal. So you probably want to run them individually. To run single tests individually, it's actually very, very simple as well. You would need to change into the virtual environment that the test suite created. You set an environment variable, and then you run nose test, and then the path to the test that would be executed. So let's see what this looks like. So hopefully this network connection works. So as I mentioned, you need to source, change into the virtual environment for the test. Set the environment variable integration test, and then run nose tests. So this is a login test for Horizon. And what this does is it brings up the login page, it enters in the username and password, it logs the user in and validates that the user is on the home page, and then logs out. It's an extremely simple test. So there may be issues with, so it ran the test. You probably didn't see anything show up because the test is running in the background. Normally, if you run in the foreground, a browser will appear and you would see the interaction that would be going on. So let's take a look at what that test looks like. So this is the actual login test. You can see that okay. So you can kind of, if you look at the test itself, it's very simple. There's only a few lines, and it's very clear as to what it's doing. So I can go line by line. The first line grabs an instance of the login page, which is a page object. It then navigates to the login page, logs the user in. It verifies that the user logs in, and it checks if the user is not logged in. It raises an error, and then logs out. It's extremely simple, clean, clear, and easy to understand. So I want to talk a little bit more about this first line. So login page. So this is a page object. So Horizon integration tests use something called the page object design pattern. And it's not a design pattern that's used in something like Java. It's the page object pattern represents screens of your web app as a series of objects. So as an example, if you imagine an application where you have a list of users and you want to represent that as an object, what you would do is an object contains properties and functionality that can be acted on the object. So for a user's page, it will contain probably a table with the list of users and a form for creating users. The functionality that can be done on the page would be creating a user or deleting a user. So the page object itself is just an object-oriented representation of a web page. This page object is then used by a test class that can get an instance of the page and perform actions on that page. So now you know what a page object is, and you can see how easy it is to execute and run Horizon integration tests. I just want to show an example of how easy it is to actually create another test. So you can see this is right now we currently have a test to log in a user, but we're missing a test to actually verify the error case where a user enters an invalid password. We want to make sure that they're not able to get logged in. So we can modify this test. So the first line, we would grab an instance of the page object. We would navigate to the login page. When we log in, instead of logging in normally, we can specify a password to be just a blank space. And then we want to check if the user is logged in, we actually want to raise the error. And then since the user is not logged in, we would just log out. We would not have to log out. So you can save this test and then run the test again. So now it's actually running the error case, the invalid login case. And if everything works properly, then it should give you the results of it. And also run the valid case as well. So as you can see, it ran successfully okay. This is the master trunk version of Horizon. So it's actually, you can actually take this code and submit a patch to it upstream and add tests. The main point I wanted to show is that it's extremely easy to add Horizon integration tests. Anyone can do it. You can add additional tests, and Horizon definitely needs more tests. So it's a great way for users to get started with testing. Instead of having to dive deep into the Horizon code, this is a great way to get started with learning about Horizon and being able to contribute more. So lastly, it's important to have fun. So these tests, it's a great way to, again, like I said, it's a great way to learn about Horizon, and it's a fun way to do it. Thank you.